Hello, welcome to the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It's at time of recording Tuesday. You know what that means, but this will be coming out on Saturday. Oh shit, I've absolutely ruined this intro already. Yay, very, very off my tits on hay fever tablets, joined by Faye. How are you, Faye?
We are sleep deprived and, barely alive. No, we're good.
Good.
We're good. We're just both going through the ringer at the minute.
Yeah, it's fun. But we are here for the monthly podcast that we do. So we can do some other cool shit that we've got coming out imminently. We'll be talking about later on the podcast. So let's get straight right into it because it's been quite a busy month, hasn't it?
I thought it's been quite quiet, like nothing's happened at all.
You say nothing's happened at all. Let's first of all talk about the possibly one of AEW's best pay-per-views they ever put on.
Oh, it was very good, wasn't it?
It was up. It's in the argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure. And that was AEW Dynasty. I mean, let's get straight into it. So I'll just quickly go through the 0 hour because there wasn't really a great deal that happened of consequence other than one match.
Yeah.
So Trent Barretta defeated Matt Sydal. After the match, him and Orange had a bit of a stare down, and Orange and Shibata defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. Pretty fun match. Always love seeing Shane Taylor. He's my boy. And then the match of consequence was the Bang Bang Gang unified the AEW World Trios Championships and the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships, beating the Acclaimed.
Still doesn't feel unified, does it? Because they're just walking around with all the belts.
8 fucking belts carrying around with them.
On a bat.
I'm hoping I do like that, especially if he starts getting more belts to put on the bat.
Yeah.
But also I'm hoping they do just get the one belt because it is a bit much. Did decent pre-show. Did what it needed to do, what everyone's after for the main show.
For sure.
Let's talk about that opening match because sweet baby Jesus, if this was on any other card, it would have fucking stole the show.
I remember you were like, "Oh, I might go to bed," and then this happened, and you were like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, I literally watched the pre-show. I was like, I think I'm gonna go to bed, and then they open with like this, and I was like, never mind. That's not happening. A card and pack, absolute fucking dream match. Given the fact that it was Okada's first Continental Championship defense, they did a really good job of making you feel like Pac might actually do it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. As I say, these two just had like amazing chemistry with one another.
I like what they do with Pac, where he doesn't wrestle for ages and just unleashes his anger out.
I mean, this time, like, he couldn't really help it because he nearly died. But
yeah,
still, I do like the fact that whenever Pac like goes away for a period of time, whether it's down to like an injury or a health scare or visa issues or whatever, he comes back more fucking unhinged than ever before.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a really good spot where Okada goes for a Rainmaker and Pac reversed it into the Brutalizer while Okada was still standing. And yeah, a really good back and forth match. Eventually, Okada does pick up the win with the Rainmaker. And after the match, Pac got a standing ovation from the crowd, which is cool to see.
I probably thought Okada was going to tap him with the money clip.
Yeah, I'm glad that Okada just like beat him with that war crime of a Rainmaker. Yeah. There was a couple of grotty moves that Okada did to Pac and vice versa. As I say, if it wasn't for a certain other match on this card, this would have been match of the night easily.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding match, and I like the Pac's now going through this whole like arc of like doubting himself, so fixing that by murder. Next
the best
up,
medicine.
It is. Next up, we had the House of Black defeating Adam Copeland, Adam Copeland is Edge, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe after Mordecai did a black sick on Adam Copeland. Again, this was really fun.
Mark Briscoe did bits in this match. He was
Mark
very
Briscoe
good.
does bits all the time. He just like he's just he'll just appear in matches, do fucking crazy shit, and then everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, Mark Briscoe's really good." This was a really nice kind of like marriage of styles. I thought like he had Copeland who worked well with everybody. Eddie and Malachi had some really cool spots. Eddie and
Yeah.
Brody just brawling had some awesome spots, and Mark and Buddy just like going hell for leather whenever they got in the ring was awesome. As I say, Malachi did the Black Mist on Copeland and then hit the Black Mass to pick up the win. And Copeland's been absolutely fine since.
Yeah, totally fine. Don't worry about it.
No, nothing to worry about whatsoever with Copeland.
No spooky vibes.
Nothing at all. Didn't try and eat Kyle O'Reilly on a Collision this week. Don't worry about it.
It's Summerween. It's fine.
It was he's going through quite the story arc at the moment where they're trying to kind of bring him into the House of Black. I'm enjoying it a lot. Next up, we had TBS Championship match where Sky Blue and Chris Statlander were both banned from ringside, and Willow Nightingale picked up the win over Julia Hart to become the new TBS champion.
I am happy about that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Julia and I want her to always be spoopy with belts, but I am so happy for Willow.
Yeah, well, Willow made quick work of Julia. It did get revealed afterwards that Julia had quite a severe injury. She's going to miss quite a lot of action, unfortunately. But it's great to see Willow being like finally giving her flowers in AEW. Obviously, she won the Owen, and she nearly won the Ring of Honor title. She did win the New
I think
Japan
she still should have, but
yeah, but it plays more into like there was bigger things for her to do outside of Ring of Honor, which is what like this kind of year she's kind of been on.
Yeah.
Which now will lead to her having a rematch with Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing.
It'd be very good, that.
I think Willow might win that.
Yeah. I think that might be what turns Mercedes heel.
I also think it's stupid to have Mercedes lose a first match and it's Mercedes' first match. But
you could have Chris screw it for her and then that's Chris's heel turn.
Yeah, or you can have Mercedes cheat to win. There's a lot of ways around it. But Willow's been putting in the work while she has been champion. She had a banger with their Sky Blue in a street fight. She deserves
to be more than a transitional champion.
Well, she's making the defenses, so I don't think it'll matter too much the length of it because she's actually doing a lot of work. Like she's going over to Stardom to defend it next week.
Yeah.
Well, this week actually, I think it's literally like tomorrow, maybe. I'll be wrong. But yeah, she's doing the work. She's had a couple of defenses so far. I do think she'll probably have another one between now and Double or Nothing if she can squeeze it in. Other than the Stardom one. And yeah, as you say, it's just good to see Willow winning some gold in AEW.
The gold.
After that, we had the AEW International Championship, Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. This was an absolute
very good.
Yeah. And it was what was quite good about it as well was obviously Wardlow tried to get involved, the referee caught him and ejected him, and Roddy ended up winning off the distraction. After the match, there was a nice little tease of like where Wardlow was in the ring celebrating with Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole got up out of his wheelchair, walked down to the ring of his own power with the Kingdom, and he just glared a hole through Wardlow, and the way it was shot was brilliant. I think Wardlow's in danger.
We're just going to commit me. We're just going to shut him down.
To be honest, it could be a good way for MJF to come back. Obviously, MJF and Wardlow. And then you can have them feuding with the Undisputed Kingdom when he's fit, because he is also injured, as is Adam Cole. Although hopefully not for too much longer. Next up, we had the FTW Championship.
Can we just pretend this didn't happen and just skip over it?
Chris Jericho defeated Hook to become the new FTW champion. I didn't think the match itself was terrible. I I think the thing with Jericho is when he's got like a lot of smoke and mirrors, which he has in these kind of matches, he puts on a good show. Like he didn't need to be hooked.
No, he didn't. And I think the thing is, everything surrounding this feud just felt so forced in that, like, I think I wouldn't have minded it if it was just like if it felt a bit more special. But it was I'm very much at the point now where I'm like, Jericho, just get off my screen for a bit. Just go away, like, please.
I think that's the idea of his character, though. Now
I know, and it's even
like,
worse.
He's playing into it. He's gone full Michael Scott, and it's actually quite entertaining and annoying.
Of course, you like it
because he's the learning tree. The
tree needs to be cut down.
Yeah. He's got his old granny panties back as well now. But yeah, I actually thought this was an okay match. I thought it made Hook look like an absolute badass because he kicked out of the Judas effect, which I think only Mox had done before.
Yeah. But Hook was the only one to kick out of it twice.
Yeah. And it took Jericho basically just like braining him with a baseball bat, and then Taz like getting up and like walking off distraught.
I love that. I'm convinced they don't tell Taz how these matches with Hook are gonna go, and all of his reactions are genuine.
I reckon at Forbidden Door last year when Jack Perry turned on Hook, I think they absolutely didn't tell Taz a fucking thing. Because he looked so angry and there was no cameras on him at all.
And he had to leave.
Yeah, he took his glasses off and was like staring at Jack Perry like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh.
And there was no cameras on him whatsoever either. That was the best part about it. It was only fans taking pictures. Like Taz is legitimately pissed off. But yeah, I think this. Let's see where it goes. I like how angry Taz has got. Jericho's put a plaque on the FTW title.
Yeah, he hates him, doesn't he? It's so good.
What did he say? It's for the world now, or something like that.
Oh yeah, for the world, yeah.
Yeah, and Taz is just an angry man about it, which is great. Next up, we had Tony Storm defeating Thunder Rosa, and it was an okay match. It was fine. Storm won with a low blow and a Storm Zero after Deonna Purrazzo came out and started brawling with Mariah, and then that led to Thunder Rosa and Deonna. Oh, poor sweet Mariah.
I love how they brought in Nigel, especially like for like the match.
Yeah, he had his beta blockers before.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did also bring him in for the following match because he needed to be there.
Of course.
Which was arguably one of the best matches of all time.
Yeah, easy.
According to Meltzer's scale, which take with a grain of salt, it's the second best match of all time behind Okada Omega.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
I think that between those two, it comes down to preference. Like which one, like they're both the best match of all time, but it's what flavor of best match do you prefer?
I think this was absolutely incredible. I think both guys just gelled perfectly. There was so many cool spots. There was the one that kind of sticks out to me was just for timing was when Ospreay went for the Oz Cutter and Danielson just hit a Busaiku knee while he was midair, like turned into it.
It did get to that point, didn't it? Where it was like, when you watch the first Kenny Ospreay Wrestle Kingdom match, and it was just Will Ospreay getting fucking battered.
Yeah.
It got to that point in the match where it was like, oh my God, Will's in danger here.
And that told a really great story leading into the finish as well, where there was that spot where obviously Ospreay knew it was kind of do or die. Danielson was like a predator waiting for his prey to get to his feet. Yeah. See, like he's in the corner about to hit the Busaiku knee. Ospreay turns around, sees what's coming, and then goes, fuck it, I'm going to have to go for the hidden blade. And it comes down to the whole like build of the match as well, where Ospreay was like, I know you may be like a better technical wrestler than me. I'm younger, I'm faster. And it come down to that where he was just faster than Danielson.
He was just quicker,
Hits him with
it wasn't about like who like necessarily out wrestled the other one. It was more like who can be quicker.
At the end of it, yeah. Which it just told a really beautiful story. Ospreay then, after the Hidden Blade, hits Storm Driver 93. Danielson starts selling his neck.
That gave me the fear.
It always gives me the fear. Danielson loves doing these fucking sells, little bastard. And yeah, he's like screaming in pain, holding his neck. He's like twitching. And then as Bryce is getting the medic, Ospreay like Hidden Blades
him.
Yeah. And then
looks so remorseful.
Well, he did a really good job again of telling the story where Ospreay thought he'd just routine victory, and then he sees all the medics checking on Danielson. He's like, "Oh shit, what have I done? Like I've killed my hero.
I've murdered my hero." Yeah.
And even in the press conference after, with Ospreay's very much out of character most of the time for these, he was very remorseful. He was very solemn. He was like, "Yeah, it's a bittersweet
I'm not doing that move anymore."
He retired the Storm Driver 93, which is now playing into a story where Don Callis is saying he needs to hit it because if he doesn't, then
he's nothing without it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the cherry on top of the cake, so to speak, for him.
It's really funny because that's like one of Kenny's like secret moves, except that it's the Tiger Driver 98, isn't it? Like, so like it's a similar type thing.
Yeah,
like it's like
that's more like a J driller, whereas the Tiger Driver 97 is just like drop them on the head and hope they don't die.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an incredible match, an absolute masterpiece. I've gone back and watched this quite a few times.
When you're sad,
it's just brilliant.
It's your comfort match. That's what it is.
I wouldn't say it's my comfort match because Bryan Danielson gets neck murdered and it makes me sad.
But it's a comfort match.
I'd say my comfort match for Bryan Danielson's probably more either the WrestleMania 30 main event or his match with Kenny, the first match, like his debut match in AEW Kenny, which was fucking amazing.
I enjoyed that.
But yeah, or to be honest, either of the Hangman ones, because they were both fucking amazing. Like the hour draw was incredible. I'm just crying in that fucking cop.
I don't know what it says about me. Shut the fuck up. Let's not start this. All of my comfort matches are like death matches. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but like, yeah.
Mine are either Bryan Danielson murdering people or just a good old tag match. Although, because obviously Chuck Taylor, which we'll get to in a bit, I've been watching quite a lot of Best Friends and Chuck Taylor stuff recently. Next up, speaking of tag teams, we had another absolute fucking instant classic, which was FTR versus the Young Bucks in a ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
So good, wasn't it?
I remember when like this match got announced, everyone was not upset, but they were just like rolling their eyes, like another FTR Young Bucks match. And I feel I
was one of those people. I'm not gonna lie.
And I feel like that's unfair because all the matches
FTR
have been just bog standard matches. They've not had any kind of like gimmick or spice added to it, and that's almost like a credit to how good those matches have been. So when they then went, all right, well, let's make it a ladder match, it was like, okay, like let's see where they're going with this. Like in the next logical progression means they're going to do it in a cage at some point. And I'm okay with it because this was phenomenal. Again, lots of scatty spots from both guys. Dax was pissing blood as he tends to in these matches. And as FTR are about to win, a fan jumps the barrier and gets in the ring and pushes the ladder over. And as security tackle him, they reveal it to be our hero, our savior.
The same fan from New Japan.
The scapegoat himself, Hangman Jack Perry. And yeah, he just has this big shit-eating grin on his face. And the Young Bucks pick up the win the tag titles.
My best boys.
The Nicholas, Matthew, and Jack. Your best boys.
Absolutely not.
And Kazuchika as well.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But yeah, this is cool. The Bucks sold it amazingly, like dead confused. Jack Perry then like throws up the elite sign as he's like getting escorted out by security. it was a fucking awesome moment. I lost my shit when I watched this.
Even though we were all expecting it.
Yeah, because we were all expecting it, but the way it happened was so like, it got us to the point where I thought, it's now or never.
Maybe they're not going to do it, yeah.
Yeah, it's now or never. So maybe they're not going to do it because they literally, like, he jumped that barrier and was in the ring so fucking quick that, like, Cash was unhooking the belt.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck, like, that was so quick how we got from, like, over the barrier to the ring.
Practice.
He did. Sadly, he didn't have any real glass, but not everything's perfect, unfortunately.
I'm sure we can make up for it at some point.
Well, if only there was a match where they could make up for that coming up in the next couple of weeks. If only.
If only. Well, I guess we'll just have to live in hope.
And the main event, we saw the AEW World Championship, Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland, and Swerve finally winning the big one. This was fucking awesome.
It was very good.
One of the most feel-good moments for me of the year, just seeing Swerve finally get to that mountaintop. There was a cool part as well where I was talking to Big Tasty about this, where in the finish, so Swerve is on the top. I think Joe's going for a muscle buster and Swerve's on the top rope, and then Joe's going up to try and like do the muscle buster off the top, and Swerve fights out of it, and then he looks Joe in the eyes and he goes to stomp him, but he accidentally goes over him.
Yeah.
And then he power bombs him, and then that allowed Swerve to have to get onto the top rope and soak in the moment of the fans realizing this is it. This is where he's going to do it.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So good, so deserved. Really good match. It's amazing that after like Ospreay and Danielson, and then also after the Bucks and FTR, the crowd was still red hot for Swerve winning the belt.
And he came out like Black Panther.
He did with Jimmy Rave's embassy robes as well. A nice touch. So yeah, whose house? Swerve's house.
Swerve's house, and we're all living in it, and it's great.
It was great.
And nothing bad has happened to Swerve since. It's totally fine.
Not at all. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, what would you give the pay-per-view out of 10 then, Faye?
I would say easy peasy, like 9.5. To be fair, like I'd probably go as far as 10.
I'd say a 9.5 just because my kind of like benchmark is all out. 2021.
Yeah.
And it's like, was it as good as that? No, because the thing for me which kind of let this down, and this is kind of picking hairs really, was the pre-show wasn't that strong, whereas All Out 2021 had a really good pre-show. And then also
I coasted on that entire day in work on adrenaline. Like I had like no sleep because it went on till like 5:30, didn't it? All Out 2021.
Yeah.
And like I was in work for like 8, so I just didn't sleep.
I was off work, and literally as I was about to like sort of like I was crashing, and then Adam Cole came out, and then Danielson came out, and I was like, yeah. The only thing that really kind of, I'd say, not hurt the card but lowered the score a little bit for me was FTW Championship, which was fine.
Yeah. Let's put it to a 9.5 then, because that's a very fair point.
The women's championship match was, again, it was fine. It wasn't the best match Tony's had. It wasn't the best match Thunder Rosa's had. It wasn't a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. It was okay. I'm
still not sold on Thunder Rosa, and I was speaking to Nat about this while we were watching Dynasty, funnily enough. And it's not even that Thunder Rosa has like got worse. It's that the caliber of the women's division while she's away has gone to like here, and she's still like here.
Yeah, the whole point of them bringing in Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb was to kind of elevate the women's division, because they had two experienced women who obviously they both train like wrestlers as well, and they're there to kind of like have good matches with people but also mentor them. Same with Madison Rayne actually as well. And it feels like a lot of the women's talent that, like Toni Storm, obviously she's always been good. Like she could have a good match with a fucking broom. She's just that good.
I'd watch that.
And then bringing in Mariah, she's excellent.
Oh, she's so good.
That's before we're even taking into account the likes of Jamie Hayter, who's been out for a year. Brit's been gone for like 6 months.
I miss Brit.
Brit's been teasing she's coming back soon, though. Like, she's been
Yeah.
doing a lot of teasing on Twitter. And also, like, she's had issues with her back, hasn't she? So I'd
Yeah.
rather she like takes her time and comes back fit than coming
Yeah.
back like not 100% and doing something worse further down the line. But yeah, as you say, even people like Willow, Julia, Sky Blue, Stat,
All those people that were like new starters are now like up there
have
now.
massively improved.
Yeah.
And that's before you even look at like Ring of Honor, where you've got like Athena and Billy Starks and Queen Aminata, just all having bangers.
Yeah. Trisha
So yeah,
Dora, Lady Frost.
Yeah. And Deanna as well.
Yeah.
Almost forgot Deanna. So yeah, I think you to a degree I agree with you. Like it's almost like it's passed Thunder Rosa by.
Yeah.
And that's not to say she's a bad wrestler. She can still have a good match with pretty much anybody, but it's almost as if like she's not shooting on the kind of like level that a lot of the other people around her are, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it's just because she's like she did have so long off and she's just still getting back up to speed. Yeah. Speaking of getting back up to speed, there is a lot of injuries in AEW, so let's talk about that before we kind of dip into their monthly sort of product. So first of all, Wheeler Yuta, he's been out with a concussion since March, I believe.
How have they not stripped the pure title from him?
I don't know. I think they just can't. I think because it's like a concussion and it's quite touch and go. It's one of those like injuries
It's
where
also not the way the Ring of Honor pure titles like contested either. It's not like a normal 1, 2, 3 pin type thing, is it? Like,
but it's. I think they might end up stripping him of it if eventually, but I think it's obviously there's kind of like
see what he's like.
Going on. Because with a concussion, like it's one of those things where you could be out for like a month and be fine after it, or you could be out for like
Adam Cole levels.
Yeah, where Adam Cole was out for like a year from a concussion.
Yeah.
So obviously based on like the history of concussions in AEW with people like Adam Cole, as you said, and even Mox.
Yeah.
They want to kind of be careful with this. So I'd rather they were taking every precaution necessary with Yuta and not rushing him back.
Also, when like he comes back, he's going to be murdering fools.
He's going to be so angry when he comes back.
Oh, it's going to be great. And can you imagine if they strip the title from him, how angry he will be?
Strip the title off and give it to Trent.
And then have Yuta murder him.
Yeah. Next up, Powerhouse Hobbs. He had a match with John Moxley and he ruptured his
knee,
his patella tendon, I believe. That's
when basically he crashed into the barricade, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's basically the tendon that holds your kneecap in place. For anyone who wants to wince. And yeah, he's already off crutches and rehabbing the fucking injury because he's an absolute
and he's massive.
And yeah, very unfortunate. He is probably going to be out for quite some time. I remember Mark Henry, who at least again Hobbs has got Mark Henry as one of his mentors. He's there in AEW, readily available. Hopefully, he'll be able to guide him through that. He's had that injury multiple times, on both knees. So hopefully, he'll be able to kind of help Hobbs with it and make sure he doesn't kind of push himself too hard coming back. And yeah, speedy recovery to Hobbs because I'm gutted about that one because he was absolutely like on the up. The match
was so good as well.
Yeah, it was a banger. And
that'd be like a ready-made opponent for when he comes back though as well, which would be good. Yeah.
Well, I think that they seem to be teasing that we're gonna get BCC versus the Don Callis family, don't they?
Yeah.
At some point. Obviously Mox has got his sights set on to cash the next by the looks of things. Well, in AEW. More on that later. And finally, Eddie Kingston. He wrestled Gabe Kidd at New Japan Resurgence in over the weekend, and it was a last man standing match. On the finish, Gabe Kidd hit I think it was a brainbuster through a table on the over the barrier and on the apron, and
Yeah.
Eddie's knee whacked into the guardrail, and he was struggling to walk afterwards. Hopefully
Still
he's okay.
managed to go through the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he managed to carry on for the Young Bucks and Hangman Jack Perry coming out and just murdering him with a BT trigger. Sorry, my bad, an EVP trigger.
BT trigger.
And again, hopefully this doesn't mean that Eddie's going to miss Double or Nothing. He is due to be in the main event, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, just fingers crossed. There is another injury update, but we'll kind of tie that into our next point that I wanted to talk about, which is the Elite storyline that we've got going on at the moment. Because oh boy, howdy, this is a doozy.
It's fun, isn't it?
There's so many layers to it.
It's always the way with Elite storylines, though. There's just webs everywhere.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning with the Dynamite after Dynasty. Jack Perry and Tony Khan are in the middle of the ring,
sharing a wholesome hug.
Yeah, Tony Khan is like, yeah, I want to reinstate you, Jack. I made up your back. They have a hug, and Jack Perry just punches him in the gut. The Young Bucks come out and Okada and start yelling at him.
They're like, no, that's not how you hit the CEO.
Well, yeah, so
this is how you do it.
They grab Tony like they're gonna EVP trigger him, and then they stop and go, no, and help him to his feet, and then Tony's all shook up, and then they hit the Tony Khan driver on Tony,
as it was meant to be,
and then the locker room empties out, and the Bucks absolute gobshites are will someone check on Tony, make sure he's all right? As everyone's trying to escort them out. Fast forward to the following week, Kenny Omega comes back and basically
we just point out that Swerve calls them out as well. Swerve
has called them out, and
several times.
This is another little thread of what's kind of going on with this, where Swerve called it a bitch move, and as punishment, they were like, "We're going to name your next opponent," which ended up being Christian Cage. It appears that the Patriarchy and the Elite have got some kind of an agreement. Deal. Yeah, and also the Mogul Embassy, who turned on Swerve, and yeah, basically Christian said he's going to take everything from Swerve. So
Young Bucks throwing all the money around. Well, they got Tesla money now, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, first week, Killswitch ripped out one of Swerve's braids, and
I hated that.
It looked so upsetting.
It was.
And then the following week, the Mogul Embassy turned on Swerve.
Tried to take his teeth out.
Yeah. And now Swerve's on the warpath to deal with the Mogul Embassy, but also
because
deal with Christian and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, because it's very much like a sort of oh, you think that because I'm a champion, I'm not going to go those places?
Yeah.
Watch me go those places.
It's interesting. I think I have an idea where this is going, but I'm not too sure when they're going to actually be able to do the match, which is, I think this is to set up for Swerve and Jack Perry, or maybe Swerve and Okada, but I don't know if they want to kind of go there yet. I feel like putting Jack Perry's been getting a lot of spotlight from this whole feud as the kind of, but he's basically, I know a joke about it, but he's basically Hangman in this unit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where he's the young guy who they're kind of rearing up to be the next star, the next generation. I feel like that's where they're kind of going with this. But yeah, we'll see where that goes, because there's that seems like it's more simmering than anything else. So Kenny Omega is in the ring. He's talking about how he's got to get surgery, and he might
Yeah.
have to have like a colostomy bag for life, but he wants to have the surgery and then come back. And before he can kind of go any further, a card comes out and we get that stare down, and
Oh,
I think the internet collectively lost their shit
I lost my shit. I know
at
that
the
much.
idea of Kenny and Okada. And then while they're like having a stare down, like, and Okada refers to himself as the best bout machine, which is correct.
Fuck you.
And while they're having a stare down, Jack Perry attacks Kenny. But, well, to protect Okada, he attacked Kenny. And then Okada and Perry do the beat down. Bucks come out. They hit the EVP trigger on Kenny. And then FTR eventually run off the
I hated that. It felt unnecessary.
Well, it made sense in the end.
I know it did, but I just don't like FTR.
They were playing 4D. They were playing 4D chess. Don't worry about it. So yeah, FTR run off the Elite, get Kenny on a stretcher, and it was all kind of like they were targeting Kenny's stomach as well, and obviously he's
yeah. Well, the thing is that he was like any blunt force trauma, and then was immediately attacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as well, at that point, he was saying he wasn't going to try and get surgery. He was going to try and hold it off as much as he could.
Yeah.
But then obviously that was a way to get him off that, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, as FTR then getting Kenny in the ambulance, the Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry all fucking attack FTR and beat the shit out of them. And then they do the old stretcher flip on Kenny. And then again, Matt Jackson's like, "Can someone get him in the ambulance, please? He needs to go to a hospital." An absolute shit. So yeah, then the following week, Kenny Omega comes on TV from a hospital bed and announces anarchy at the arena to save AEW from the Elite. So it's the team of Kazuchika Okada, Hangman Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks versus FTR and two people who get revealed later in the night, which turned out to be Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson.
Which feels like a weird little.
Well, this is all by design, apparently. So Fightful said that obviously the Elite are three of the original people and Okada. And this other pairing is people who weren't around from day one. Like Eddie and FTR were there sort of early on, within the first sort of 6 months, maybe to a year. Obviously Danielson's been there since 2021, but Danielson's this is the new vision for AEW. So
but he's Tony Khan's champion, isn't he?
Yeah. So it's kind of adding different levels of dissent between different sections of AEW fans who I want the old AEW back, and then I want Danielson's AEW.
And the thing is as well is that there's this obviously lovely thing of that Danielson and Eddie on a cohesive unit, which could cause
there's the whole
as well.
There's already trouble with that where so there's the whole thing with obviously Danielson and Eddie after the match. Was it Revolution? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They kind of shook hands and respect each other, and they've got the mutual respect there now. So on Collision this week, Danielson's cutting a promo about Anarchy at the Arena. As soon as he says Anarchy at the Arena, Claudio walks out the ring and just storms off. And then he cut a promo saying Brian nearly had to retire because of Anarchy at the Arena last year.
And it was Eddie's fault.
Yeah. And then he's and now he's teaming up with Eddie Kingston. And so Claudio's fucking mad at everybody.
Yeah.
So keep your eye on what he's up to, because he's up to no good, that bloody Swiss bastard. And
depending on if Eddie's not thingy, you could very well have Mox in that.
I feel like they might end up replacing Eddie with Mox. I feel like that's a logic.
So. The dream is
Um,
Hangman, but the logic says Mox.
yeah, I suppose Mox is like then a day one guy, and there's obviously he's a day one guy. Why is he why is he against like the new people?
Also,
Um,
we had that great match between Eddie and Mox and the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing as well. So that would be a nice little callback to that.
sure did, and we had was a Stadium Stampede where it was like Eddie against BCC. So
Yes,
there's more dissension there. Um, yeah. So an update from this with Kenny as well. Um, he is now going for surgery.
very soon, like within days.
As in like he could have had it by the time this is
Yeah,
released. Uh, he he
by one of
did a
the top specialists in his field.
yeah. Um, he did a stream where he basically said, "Yeah, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to. I'm going to be away from streaming, but I'm going for the surgery like imminently."
He called
Um,
all the worst people in the world and went, "That's enough streaming for now," and then went and got surgery.
yeah, pretty much. Um, yeah. So Kenny's not given. Obviously, can't give a timetable because he doesn't know. But he's confident that he's going to be able to kind of get back to as good as he
What he was.
was at the start of
Especially as he fucking called out everyone who's ever called themselves the best in the world.
yeah, yeah.
Because
I
he
mean,
was like, I've only ever been, I never called myself that. Everybody else did.
yeah. I mean, dream scenario. He's good for all in. We got a card and Omega at all in.
I'll lose my shit.
Although I think that's probably more likely to be next year now,
Mm-hmm.
provided both of them are fit. Um, I do think like the only way they can make Okada and Omega bigger is by doing it somewhere like Wembley, where it's packed out,
Yeah.
and that could like that match itself could like sell at Wembley, couldn't it? If they announced it a year in
Easy,
advance.
easy. Because people, can
Um,
you imagine the amount of people from Japan that had come over to watch that?
I don't think they give a fuck, but you would get like so it's a match that's only happened in Japan, so
Yeah.
you would get like Americans coming over, you would get
Yeah.
people coming over from all the world to see it for
Yeah.
sure. Um, let's take a little I say segue. It's sort of like Kenny adjacent, and talk about the person who he last wrestled, Ethan Page, who was
That
left
was a good
AEW.
match.
That was
I
very good.
hate that. I hate that he's
Um,
left. I
yeah, I
get
mean
it,
it seems like
but
it's a mutual thing. He obviously wasn't getting used, which
yeah.
I've thought for a while was fucking stupid because
Yeah,
Ethan
because
Page
he's
is
so good.
insanely good. He has got his own promotion in Hamilton, Ontario, his hometown, called Alpha One, I believe. Um,
And he does a lot of mystery wrestling as well.
he did a mystery wrestling show. Didn't do the last one. Last one had sexy Chucky T on commentary. Um, and also the main event was Jordan Grace versus Miyu Yamashita, which oh yes,
Oh, nice.
it was fucking good. Um, and and we got Psycho Mike versus Dan Barry as well. But Psycho Mike was Cowboy Mike, just doing a Stan Hansen gimmick, which is what we want. But yeah, so Eden Page is left. He's been very cryptic about it. He's not saying where he's going. He's not saying if he's going anywhere. Looks like he's
Show
just
up
doing
at
the.
Clusterfuck or
I,
GCW.
I think he will. I
Yeah.
genuinely think he will probably show up in GCW. I think it's very likely he goes to TNA.
Yeah.
Reunites the North with Josh Alexander, and then give me my favorite tag team back, please, and thank you. Because I just want Josh Alexander and Ethan Page murdering people. That's all I want. Especially the Motor City Machine Guns, but they're not there anymore, so can't have that.
Oh, give me them now. I
But
feel like I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. But I think this is better than them joining straight away.
yeah, I think they show up at Double or Nothing.
Made the Bucks or join the Elite.
Don't know. To be honest, they might just do like what they do every now and again, like they did with Roosh, where they just
Show
had
up,
like
murder Jay White, and leave.
I was gonna say like they did with Roosh, where they just did a vignette and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, here's Roosh, and I was like, what the fuck's happening?
That is so their type of thing.
Yeah, or alternatively, they they've not announced the casino battle royal yet.
Maybe they do a
At the
tag team one.
tag team, they're the Jokers. That's what I was thinking.
I would
And
lose my
then
shit.
sets up the Bucks and MCMG very nicely.
And then we have to do a whole Generation Me thing on TNFaye.
We've already done it.
I know, but I feel like you just make me relive it anyway for extra psychic damage.
To be fair, Big Tasty said they had a really good ladder match in TNA. At a house show.
I've seen bits and I was impressed, but it's just the whole thing.
They did an Ultimate X match, which was fun. Yeah. Speaking of TNA, got a little bit of TNA news.
Go on.
So first of all, Speedball Mike Bailey's contract is up at the end of the year, and he's looking at all interested parties. So, I mean, if anybody doesn't sign it, if everyone isn't looking at Speedball and going, we need to sign this guy, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
I know.
I personally think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, easy.
He's incredible. He's like nothing else as well. Like, there's not many wrestlers like him.
Yeah.
And there's people who do there's people who can do a lot of things that he can do, but there's not people who can do everything that he can do.
Yeah.
He's so unique.
And he just seems like the loveliest guy as well.
Yeah, unless he's doing like bastard heel Speedball that he does occasionally in GCW, where he like tombstones Starboy Charlie onto a wooden floor for just reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because beautiful boys need to suffer. That's why.
He did also go full bastard against Master Slamovich one time, which was amazing.
I remember that.
I was in my matches of the year last year.
And the Kota Ibushi.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Where do you think he's gonna land?
Is it weird that I think that he's just gonna free agent it for a bit?
I mean, that's what he's basically doing now anyway. Just he's under contract to TNA, but he's still doing like the indies.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he could do the thing where he just shows up everywhere.
I feel like he's gonna
like what the vets are doing.
Yeah, I feel like because he's been doing that for like the last sort of couple of years,
he wants to settle down.
He might want to not settle down, maybe like level up a bit and go to either New Japan permanently or AEW or WWE. And I think
like see him in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in AEW personally, but I also think it's a no-brainer to fucking sign him to New Japan.
Yeah.
And also the way they portrayed him in Best of the Super Juniors last year, like they made him feel like a fucking megastar. Like,
yeah,
just build that junior heavyweight division around him. Have him and Mustafa Ali just feud for ages, and that'll be great.
And Ninja Mac.
And Ninja Mac, Leo Rush can be there for a bit too, doing all the Blackheart stuff.
Yeah,
and so can Hiromu, I guess. Why not? He give us.
If we must.
He gave Daryl steroids.
Yeah, he did.
Speaking of Super Juniors in TNA as well, we would be remiss to not talk about Jonathan Gresham's awesome new character.
Squiddy Boy.
Ink. The octopus. So he's... Well, no, it's very, very cool the way they've done it. So there's... I did put it on our Discord. I told you to watch it after we've recorded this. And let me know what you think. But it's only about 4 minutes. But it's basically like a therapy session, but it's in like a boardroom. And they're asking Jonathan Gresham about like, oh, well, how have you like improved? And he says like he wears 3 masks, one for the world to see, one for his loved ones to see, and one that only he can see. And then like the room empties and he starts coughing up all black shit. And then
you're playing too much Splatoon. That's what it is.
Yeah, and then he looks in the mirror and he sees like the octopus mask that he has, and he like takes the legs off, and it's like a cool like Great Muta style mask. It's cool as fuck. Yeah, he debuted that character, and basically murdered Kushida, and then
Oh,
murdered some other guy while doing Black Six on them. But because like an octopus with ink.
yeah, I'm
But yeah,
starting to get that,
yeah, it looks very cool. I'm a big fan of this new like kind of repackaged Jonathan Gresham. Um, you know who did repackage themselves in TNA?
Who?
Dustin Rhodes. He
No,
he had a spooky gimmick called Black Rain. Let's talk about that.
we have to.
Oh, we sure do, Faye. We've not had
Oh,
TNFaye for almost 2 months. The people want it.
no.
The people need it, Faye.
This is
Um,
your fault, Lewis.
Casey Payne was on to me about it.
Oh, no.
So back in
Betrayed.
back in 2007, Dustin Rhodes joined TNA, where he was basically as himself, and he was saying, "Oh, but he's got a split personality disorder, and he's got a dark alter ego called Black Rain, and he doesn't want to let it out." Um, Fast forward to his debut match, and he comes out. It's basically like Gold Dust, but all like silver and
Goth.
black. Yeah, so
Like when he'd
silver and
listen to My Chemical Romance loads.
uh, yeah. I'm gonna send you the link to what I'm reading this off, so you can have a look at a picture of him, but don't scroll down, so you don't get any spoilers here. Um,
Okay.
so he's got like a onesie made out of pleather, which is silver and like black with silver tribal
Oh
designs,
my God.
and then he's got a black wig, and that thing in his hand, the stick with it's like a pimp cane with a fist holding a knife that was called Darkness Falls that he'd stab people in the head with. I'd
That's
also
like
come,
Kiss gone wrong.
oh yeah, it sure is. And then he'd also come to the ring with a rat called Misty, um, and he'd get the rat to
Wow.
kind of he'd open the cage and put people's heads in the cage, and the rat would go mad. Um, So yeah, he debuted okay because he got DQ'd. He basically like lost it, and I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. Bear in mind, like this was like the low point of his life, so he was like in terrible
Yeah.
shape. He was dealing with a lot of issues with addiction. So it it in theory it could have been done well if it didn't have Vince Russo and Dustin in the way he was.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Basically, TNA didn't have a fucking clue what to do with this character. So guess what
Shock.
they did, right?
Horror.
Guess what they did?
I don't know.
They put him in a feud with Abyss,
No.
and he did a load of gimmick matches, including
Oh.
but not limited to Monsters Ball, which is just like a hardcore match. Um, a Capture the Rat match. Um, a Shop of Horrors match, which is basically Monsters Ball, and then they put him in a tag team with a man that you may have heard of called Relic. That's Killer Backwards.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah.
heard that before.
And if you scroll down in the article, Faye, you can see a picture of Relic.
Okay.
And they had a match called the Match of 10,000 Tacks, which was just like, well, there was just like loads of thumbtacks all over the place. Um, yeah, so
Oh my
they
God.
yeah, that's a whole different episode, although it kind of ties into this. So they were
Oh.
put into a tag team at the time when they had like Team 3D, who were actually quite good at the time, LAX, who were good, Motor City Machine Guns, and more. Um, Basically fizzled out. Ended up in a feud with Super Eric, which was Eric Young as a superhero, and then getting released.
This
Yeah,
that that doesn't sound like I ever want to remember that this was a thing.
and
Stop giving me stories with Abyss in. Stop it
and
now.
and yeah, he had a load of matches with Abyss,
No?
that were all fucking terrible. So yeah,
Wow.
Black Rain.
No? No. No. You know what? Right. I am glad that we are only doing these monthly reviews monthly. So then I get less TNFaye.
Yeah, but this gives me more time to research them.
I'm gonna pretend I'm just gonna wipe
Um,
that little quote away from my memory and it'll be great.
yeah, there was something else I was going to say about. Oh yeah, also Dustin Rhodes. Like if you ever mention it to him on Twitter, he'll just block you because he hates it. Understandably, because it was like at
Yeah.
that point it was like, from so yeah, well, Black Rain.
No, no.
Um, from one Dustin to another, just to keep you feeling sad. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Chuck
Let's carry on with that.
Taylor. So Chuck Taylor, it appears will have to retire, which is devastating news.
Yeah, it is.
One of my favorites for sure. Um,
I will never forgive Tony Khan for not putting the belt on them.
yeah. So Chuck Taylor, obviously Trent turned on Orange Cassidy because he's a bastard man. Chuck Taylor made the save and got to say shit on television, which made us
Broke the
all happy.
universe, clearly.
Yeah, and then he went on to have a parking lot brawl with Trent.
Which
Um,
was upsetting to watch.
yeah, after Trent beat Chuck after the match, Trent hit Chuck in the ankle with a lead pipe through a glass
With it,
window,
everything.
and said that Chuck's going to have to get surgery on his ankle. It was then later revealed that because of the nature of like the injury, like he had like a freak thing happen to it, where he basically will never wrestle again, which sucked. But they never said they'll never wrestle again. They said it's highly unlikely that he'll ever wrestle again. But it seems to be that he's going to retire. He has been training as a producer and a trainer in AEW. Obviously, he has a history of being he was a trainer for Shikara. But yeah, this just sucks. I love Chuck Taylor. Me and Big Tasty, I think you might be jumping in as well if you're about.
Yes.
Going to be doing a little career retrospective of Sexy Chucky T, because he's a great character. He's a great wrestler.
He's a man of many names.
I don't think he gets his flowers as much as he should. Yeah. I'm just happy we got to see an awful waffle at Wembley. That was nice. But yeah, really gutted about Chuck Taylor. I'm looking forward to talking about him though, and talking about some of my favourite matches that he's had, because he's one of those guys that I don't think people realise just how good he is. And yeah, hopefully he's just happy and he recovers. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. If I don't see him wrestle again, I'll be sad. But also,
when comes,
yeah, absolutely. Put him and Daddy Magic on commentary on Rampage.
Oh my god!
Just have Chuck book Rampage as Shikara, and it'll be fine. Yeah, and let's just, before we kind of start wrapping things up, first of all, let's talk about New Japan Dominion, because oh boy, have they announced quite the doozy of a card.
I haven't seen this card yet, so I'm very excited.
I'm just kidding.
So lay it on me.
So, I mean, you're going to hate the main event, I'll be honest with you.
Am I?
Oh, you sure are. So the main event is Jon Moxley versus Evil.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. No thanks. That can go away forever.
Next up, we're going to have Shingo Takagi versus Hanare for the Never Openweight title in just a big lad murder fest.
Yeah.
Yuya Uemura versus Great Khan for the King of Pro Wrestling Championship.
I would love for Great Khan to win that.
So would I. Just doing silly bollocks.
Yeah.
The New Japan TV Championship. Jeff Cobb defending against Tomohiro Ishii. That'd be
love
fun. That. A 4-way tag team championship match. Bishamon, Gorillas of Destiny, Bullet Club, and the Mighty Don't Kneel.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I hope the Mighty Don't Kneel win all the belts. And then obviously the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors as well. That's everything they've announced so far. But yeah, should be a good card. I imagine they're probably going to announce the G1 lineup there as well, which, yes,
I get excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm intrigued to see like where they kind of go with that, given that obviously it looks like Mox is going to be wrestling in it again, based on the fact that he's the champion. Because
Oh, that'd be so good.
he defended against his son and won.
Oh, that was lovely.
Yeah. Also, just quickly from that card, Gabe Kidd, who he's also pretty much a lock-in for the G1 now because he defeated Eddie Kingston for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship in a no rope last man standing match. Yeah, I don't know who else is going to be in the G1. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm also kind of scared that it's going to be shit.
Because everybody that's in it is injured. Like everybody that like the big
Well,
guys.
or they've left.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you haven't got Jay White, you haven't got Will Ospreay, you haven't got Okada, you haven't
Zack
got
Sabre should win it.
you
Is
should.
what I'd say.
You should.
Zack
I'd
Sabre
like to
Jr.
see.
wins, beats Mox at Wrestle Kingdom. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But yeah, there's not really like as far as sort of
Throw Driller in it.
Thriller could defo jump up like the weight class for sure.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about Lance Archer might be in it, maybe.
that'd be good.
He's been knocking about in New Japan for a
Him and
bit.
Mox would have a nice little reunion like fight as well, because I feel like they're always like forever rivals, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who, because they usually get like an AEW guy,
Hilario.
don't they? No, thank you.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Maybe Powerhouse if he's well.
Powerhouse out for the rest of the year.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Kyle O'Reilly.
I was about to say I wouldn't be against seeing Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong in it.
That'd be good.
Or Trent. I think Trent would be quite a nice little addition into it. It's
You could throw Rocky in there as well.
Rocky's more of a junior though, isn't he?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Perry was in it because he's beefed up the fuck, hasn't he?
Can you imagine if he won it? Can you imagine how insufferable the Bucks would be?
Jack Perry wins the G1, then dethrones Mox. I love it. Great idea, Faye.
Oh no! Throw Hangman in it. Make
fuck
off.
Yeah. Speaking of people going across the world, let's talk about soft ground wrestling Uganda because this has warmed the cockles of my heart a little bit.
It's so lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, so for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's a wrestling company in Uganda that basically don't have a ring, so they've made their own on like soft ground where they kind of like just rake like the ground and it's all soft. And it started with Shima and I can't remember his name, someone from Great showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like doing a little bit of training with them. And we were like, me and Dan from Chinwag were joking, saying it's a matter of time before Shima shows up there and starts working for them.
And then it happened.
Like the same day. And then it was like, oh, that was nice and cool. That kind of
blew up.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that it kind of opened like the forbidden door, so to speak, to Uganda. So first of all, MXM, the former Maximum Male models, shown up, and murdered Lord White, which was nice. And then I thought, well, and then then they did a massive fundraiser. They raised almost $30,000.
Yeah.
Mansour's mum bought them a van, which was really nice. And yeah, they basically Mansour kind of like spoke about everything they were gonna kind of like be getting.
Yeah.
The wrestlers there. Again, as I say, very heartwarming.
Could you imagine, right, them showing up at like backyard wrestling, but it being like soft ground in the backyard?
I am surprised that Janela hasn't already fucking been over there to try and
I
arrange
know.
it.
I know.
So
Backyard wrestling in Uganda.
so then this is where it started getting a little bit mad. So Sanjuki the Bull called out Will Ospreay and signed a contract for a match with Ospreay at Forbidden Door. Whether that's going to happen, I don't fucking know.
Which is insane.
Yeah. I think he just made his own contract personally, but either way, it's cool as fuck.
It'd be funny if it worked, though.
But then Jordan Loverine like came out and was basically like, well, me and Ospreay have the same background. I should wrestle him. And then it turned out there was a British guy in Uganda, but it wasn't Will Ospreay. It was your boy Tate Mayfair who came out and defended the TNT title against Jordan.
I love how we made a joke about it, and then it immediately happened.
Yeah. Oh, and then they announced after off the back of this. So Tate started his own.
Tate went from Comic-Con to Uganda, like,
yeah. And then he landed in London and wrestled that night. So Tate has basically now been announced for the SGW World Title Tournament to crown the first ever SGW World
they
Champion.
Got their belts. It's very nice.
They got their belt. It's basically just the Intercontinental Championship, but
but
soft ground on it. And yeah, Tate Mayfair is going to be in the final, like as the number one seed, facing whoever wins the tournament. But yeah, it's just awesome seeing like the wrestling world kind of uniting to support this little promotion.
Swerve wants to go over there as well, doesn't he?
Swerve said he does. Ospreay said he does. Kenny Omega said he wants to.
He says I'm going to be the best in the world. Will Ospreay can go and do that until I go over there, and then I'm the best at it. Kenny's in danger.
Kenny's lost his damn mind because he can't wrestle. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little shout out for that because it's cool as fuck that they've obviously been able to use their sort of star power to raise money for this little company in Uganda who just want to do it. So yeah, that's nice to hear. I'll make sure I get the link for Tate's fundraiser and stick it in the comments.
Yes.
And I'll tweet Tate about it so he knows what I'm doing, so he can retweet the link again when I've put it in there. I'll probably stick it on the bottom of the screen as well right now, around here somewhere. Or above us. I don't fucking know. I'll know when I am.
It'll be somewhere.
Anyway, let's quickly bring this to a bit of a crescendo. You been to any shows this month, Faye?
Yeah, I went to one that I really, really enjoyed was Infamous. That escalated quickly. I have never been enjoying a show so much and then immediately felt panic. Like, when like you realize something's going to happen and you're like, oh shit.
Why would happen?
So we had the pleasure of having Tommy Jackson's son sit with us for all of the show. He's a lovely lad. Shout out to Thomas. But Uncle Ryan had previously called out Tommy like 2 days before, saying that Tommy wasn't really a violent man.
Well, that was silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, said he was only a family man and he wasn't a violent man. And that Chav, who are Uncle Ryan, Connor Klein, Jack MV, and Critchy, they're all called Chav. Oh, and Salford Jack Johnson.
Critchy's a fucking menace.
Oh, he is. So it was two dogs, Jack MV and Critchy, against Casey Payne. And
Tommy.
And Tommy. And Uncle Ryan put his hands on Thomas.
Well, you were sat next to him.
Yeah.
So did Thomas's dad come and sort him out?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and
That's all we want.
oh yeah, and then they won, but then Salford came and smacked Tommy with a pipe, and
Classic.
like yeah, and then Tommy fucking battered them outside. It was great,
Yeah.
so good. Also we had a really lovely moment of Declan McCarthy, a lovely but sad moment of Declan McCarthy giving up the infamous
Oh,
title.
he had to retire due to injury, didn't he?
Yeah, we love Declan. He was great. So that was really good. Really sad. And then Lance and Temple and Mallon came out. Rob was like, "You're not doing this. Fight me," and he wouldn't because they go back to fighting spirit days. But then Lance fought Isaac in like instead of obviously Rob and
Go
Declan
for the belt.
fighting. No, not for the belt. This was just a fight at the start, and then there was a battle royale, and Isaac was the surprise entrant that wasn't really announced
Yeah.
and won the belt. And it's spoopy season at the minute in Infamous.
Sure is.
Summerween.
I fucking love her. Isaac.
I was so gutted for Lance. I feel like I've seen Lance in so many like heartbreaking, like where he's had been screwed out of titles now that like I feel like Lance is gonna end up getting some issues from it.
You know what you should do? Buy a
What?
t-shirt.
No, until he makes the Joy Division
It,
t-shirt,
it'll
I'm
make him
not
happy
buying another one.
if you buy like the same
You know
t-shirt off his
what?
place.
No, I've already got 3 of them. I don't need another one.
Oh, he lands. I got you back.
Yeah, make the Joy Division one again, and I'll buy it. I'll buy 3 of those. There we go. Committed to that on the pod now. But yeah, that was really good. And then Wrestle Island was fantastic. We got to see
As
the
always,
Unknown versus Candy Stan.
that's not real.
I promise you, it wasn't.
Really.
And then we all got pelted with bags of Haribo. It was great.
Oh my god.
They had a lovely little
Did you have a sausage roll?
tribute. I did. They do all kinds now, but yeah, I still had the sausage roll. They did a lovely little tribute for Shane,
Oh, that's
who
nice.
obviously one of the fans that was at like every
Local
show.
fan goes to went to every show. Unfortunately, passed away.
Yeah, but they did a 10-bell salute, a minute of applause, and then they had like a seat reserved. Like it was really, really sweet. Yeah. And that was a really good show as well. Set up Brian Aidenson and Tommy for the
Yeah,
next show.
I saw Tommy Wamp
Um,
and good lad.
yeah, it was great. Yeah, and
Awesome.
Christy made it an audience member.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
As he should.
Christy's gone fully like looks like he snapped.
That's the kind of Christie we want, though.
Yeah,
Just murder Christie. That's the Christie I enjoy watching.
made the Christy.
I do tell him that every time I see him.
It's so good, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'll do a little shameless cheap plug because at time of recording, well, we've just released you interviewing Lewis Johnson to promote OTP and not Infamous, Infinite
Yeah.
promotions. They're the 2 shows you're going to next week, which you'll be talking about probably on the next.
Yeah. Well, as of release, Infinite OTP will be happening.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm sure we'll get more menacing from Lewis Johnson, which be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think he'll menace us because I give him a really real doozy of a TNFaye this week after he requested it in the interview.
Yeah, I know.
I heard the fans and I listened.
I wish you wouldn't. I wish we'd. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not happy about it. But
Yeah.
I guess that's out of the question, really.
Don't worry about it. I think I'm running out of abyss things at least, so there's that.
I'm sure you'll find something else.
Oh, I'll be looking. Don't worry. I think I already know what I've got for next month. So I actually went to a wrestling show this month. Finally,
did you really?
I genuinely did. Yeah, having not been to one for fucking ages. I finally got to one with our good old friends, the Damn It Vacant boys.
Oh, the
Joe and
best
Ellis, the
boys.
pair of menaces.
Nat's antagonists.
Me and Ellis did get a picture together and sent it to Nat just to upset
Oh.
her. But yeah, it was. I went to a Soft Pro False Idols in Manchester, and I had a lovely time. Um, I'll I won't say everything that happened because if you want to check them out, I will be leaving links to all the YouTube channels for the promotions we've discussed in the bio on YouTube. I'll find a way to stick it in there on Spotify and that as well. But I just want to talk about the opening match, which was an absolute banger, which was CPF versus Sunshine Machine.
That's a dream match, isn't it?
Yeah, Chuck Mambo chopped Danny Black so hard that I thought Danny Black's heart was going to come out his back.
Wow.
And then he posted a picture afterwards, and he just had like an actual handprint on his chest.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was an absolute banger. And also, there was two other really well. To be honest, the whole show was brilliant. The whole show was ace. If you look, you might see me going mad at certain things. You might see Troy because he's filming it, and
Pete.
And Pete, but Pete was backstage. Pete was doing the backstage. Troy was actually
Pete.
Troy was actually filming at ringside, so you'll probably see a lot of him. And I kept tactically sticking UWP stickers on Troy throughout the show. He let me do it. I wasn't just doing it to be an asshole. But yeah, so there was a really, really good match between Ian Skinner and Leon Slater for the Commonwealth title. Absolute banger.
Follow Dammit Bacon for more Ian Skinner facts.
Yeah. Continue the campaign for after Skinner Mints.
Yes,
that's what we need. A match that I know you'd like to see would be Harley Hudson's Open Challenge, which was answered by Sky Smithson.
Oh yeah, I really do want to see that.
That was an absolute banger. And the main event was a 5-way TLC match. Joseph Connors defending the Sub Pro World title against Joey Hayes, Bullet, Sam Gradwell, and Man Like the Reese.
Can I just say, right, I feel like I haven't seen Joey Hayes wrestle in ages, and I miss Joey Hayes.
Was he not at Wrestle Island?
He was not.
He's always at Wrestle Island?
I know. Joe and Lisham weren't there.
He did take a nasty looking. They were at Sub Pro against each other. He did take a nasty looking bump in that ladder match, so hopefully he's okay. Yeah. But yeah, really good show. I'll more likely than not be at the next Sub Pro show because I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And I'll try and get some more shows around Merseyside as well. We are
14th of July, isn't it?
Sub Pro.
The next Sub Pro, I think.
I believe it
Something
is, yeah.
like
we are going to
Burning Heart
as well. GYV's new promotion.
Joe Hendry's going to be there.
He is. And so is Sanity. They're wrestling GYV, aren't they? Sanity, the one where.
Yes.
And Lizzie versus Danny Luna, which will absolutely fucking slap.
And Trent Seven as well.
Trent Seven. Mark Andrews is also there.
And is Haskins there as well? I think he is, yeah.
Probably. But yeah, that should be good. We'll probably be talking about that in July by the time we record.
Yeah. And the Infamous show. That's on the 22nd.
We'll be doing a preview for that. Probably I need to.
Yes.
DJ King needs to slip into my DMs about that one because we spoke about it at Sub Pro. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to get to more wrestling shows. I've just not been able to recently because life. So hopefully I'll be able to get to do that and see everyone at them with stickers as always. Right, let's wrap this one up. So first off, Faye, what's been your favourite match of the month?
Swerve and Claudio.
Ooh, that was a banger, to be fair.
Yeah.
That was a cheeky little banger.
It was such a surprise, which is why I was like so excited for it.
Yeah. Mine was also a bit of a surprise.
Go on.
It was just from a random episode of Collision. And it was Ray Phoenix returning against their Drugs Mule.
Oh my God,
aka
that was so good.
the Beast Mortos, who has now repackaged himself also, just like Jonathan Gresham and Black Rain.
Waiting for him. He's waiting for Hangman.
He's waiting for Handsman Pills to give him some drugs. But yeah, he just beat the piss out of Ray Phoenix, didn't
Oh,
he?
it was so good. I loved him. Like that was, I think I've seen him on the odd Triple Mania, but I hadn't really seen much of him.
Have you
And that
seen
was
this?
so good.
Have you seen this match from Ring of Honor against Vikingo?
No.
It was on like the pre-show of no, no, it wasn't Supercard. What was the one in December?
Death Before.
Was it Death Before Dishonor?
Think so.
Yeah, that
No,
sounds
because I
right.
haven't actually seen that pay-per-view.
Oh my God, Faye.
So I have to watch it.
You need to watch the BCC match from that.
Yes, I do.
BCC against the Briscoe Revival. Yeah, it was great. Beast Mortos is a fucking beast. Then he just slapped the shit out of Ray Phoenix. And more of that, please.
Yeah.
What about your wrestler or tag team of the month?
VGS.
You just straight up VGS.
VGS, they've done proper bits everywhere. OTP, Infamous,
Yeah.
Wrestling, they've absolutely killed it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for the most basic bitch of basic bitch answers here and say Swerve.
Fair. I mean, it's deserved.
Yeah, he's had a fucking great month. Now he's in a feud with Christian Cage, which I'm actually really excited about that match.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And he's also on a murder tour of the Mogul Embassy and tearing it down.
And we've got Brian Cage tomorrow.
We have. And well, at time of release, I can't believe that Brian Cage did a 650 backflip.
Unheard of. We'll never see that again.
Second. One of those things definitely happened. But yeah, Swerve. He's had a really good month. Guy deserves everything he's getting.
And buy his trainers when they come out.
Yeah, I want a pair of them. They're nice.
Yeah, they're so good.
They're really nice. But I imagine they're probably going to be fucking dollars.
Nat's trying to, well, Nat's like got an ulterior motive to me getting them for Matthew because Matthew will grow out of them, but she is Matthew's size right now. So
that's kind of genius.
Yeah.
And also, if it'll be funnier if Matthew's feet don't grow anymore.
Don't say that. He's only a 5.5.
But then Nat'll be fuming about it because she can't get the shoes, and it'll be funny. And I'll find joy in it. Well, yeah, anyway, thank you for listening, everybody. We are going to have some cool stuff coming out in the next couple of days. We've just dropped an interview with Lewis Johnson that faded. It's fantastic. Go and listen to it. Especially the bits where Lewis Johnson's bigging up Abyss. I love that bit.
I don't.
Made me face
that drained a bit of my soul. It really did. Because like he said, as soon as he said TNA, I was like, oh no. Because I knew that you would pick up on that. And then he kept mentioning Abyss, and I was like, no.
You shouldn't have asked me to edit it, should you? That was the first.
No, really shouldn't have. Yeah, that was the first problem.
Well, otherwise, I wouldn't have got into this having listened to it because we would have been recording. Yeah. Also, we've got the Chuck Taylor retrospect that we're going to be recording over the weekend. That will probably
Double
be out
or Nothing preview and review, maybe.
Well, we've got a Double or Nothing 2019 retro review that is due out next week. Once I finish editing it, which is almost done. And we also have predictions that'll be next week.
Yes, I'm so down for predictions.
There'll probably be some other shit we do. We might try and squeeze another retro review in. If we have a chance. Yeah, let us know what you want to watch. Let us know who your favorite wrestler and match of the week a month have been. It's monthly now, Jay.
We'll get there.
And check out all the other stuff. You know where we are on socials. It'll probably be on the screen somewhere. Yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.